What does memory and perception have to do with the media? Quite a lot. The average person today in this room consumes anywhere between 6 to 8 hours of media content every single day. Whether that is television, radio, social media, digital media, or print. And in the process of consuming that media, our minds are being conditioned, for better or for worse, by what we hear, by what we see, and what we consume. It is my submission, therefore, that if we're to grow and prosper as a nation, perception and narrative matters. What we see and say about ourselves on a daily basis has tremendous implications for us as individuals and as a nation. Unfortunately, I believe that many of us here today and listening to this broadcast will get it. But there are many who are so conditioned by negativity and cynicism that regardless of what is said, regardless of what is right before us, regardless of the accomplishments, whether it be in government, whether it be in the business sector, and don't get me wrong, this is not about politics. I've been around for 60 years. I think I've seen quite a few governments come and go, but one commonality is that every single government in this nation, from 1966 till today, has been torn apart, shredded apart, criticized, pulverized, mauled by we, the people. It doesn't really matter what you do. I think it's time to change that. I'm not saying that we don't have challenges, and I'm not saying that we don't have problems, and I'm not saying that our leaders past have not failed us. Yes, they have. But I think in the midst of all of this, there are great things happening, and our narrative really does have to change. The strategic and creative use of media can help us to create new perceptions, new possibilities, and new pathways. And leaders understand this very well. If you are to ask me of my personal definition of leadership, I would say this. And this is something that I coined about 5 years ago. Leadership is the creative ability to envision an alternative future and the capacity to successfully take others on a journey that they otherwise would never have embarked upon. I'll say that one more time. Leadership is the creative ability to envision an alternative future, a future different from the one that we're living in or the present that we're living in right now, and the capacity to successfully take others on a journey that they otherwise would never have embarked upon. Successful leaders are those who are able to craft new perceptions and new realities that others believe in and follow. While cognizant of the past and the pains of the past, they live in the future and understand how to bring the future to the present. But more importantly, they see the future long before it happens. A few moments ago, I said that every generation thinks that their own generation was a much better one than the one that followed. But look, I would never give anything. I wouldn't give anything to go back to the decades past. I believe that these are exciting times for us as Nigerians. In the worlds of entertainment, entrepreneurship, banking, music, arts, writing, fashion design, architecture, agriculture, medicine, engineering, ICT, robotics, software engineering, we are witnessing unprecedented and amazing breakthroughs and successes like we've never seen before. So you cannot tell me that Nigeria isn't a better place. Again, we have to recondition our thinking and again alter the lens by which we see what is happening before us. It is quite possible that you live in Nigeria or you follow Nigeria from afar in the diaspora and still not being able to recognize the transformative events taking place right before us. Very simply, it's a function of a conditioned mind. So we have a responsibility as a people to change the way that we decide to see where we are. Not too long ago in this country, and you've heard Mosumola Umaru, you've heard quite a number of others speak, but just a few short years ago, very few saw the exponential opportunities in agriculture. Until the president of the African Development Bank, Akinwumi Adesina, who was then the Minister of Agriculture, decided to go against decades-old ways of doing business. Through visionary leadership and regulatory changes, he and his team transformed Nigeria's agricultural space in 4 short years and made agriculture cool for the very first time in the history of our nation. Today, we're seeing a whole new generation of agripreneurs doing amazing things. And it's a journey that is still unfolding for us. And the African Development Bank, which I believe, and which we believe is at the center of Africa's transformation, we have committed through our Feed Africa program and Enable Youth program to create 24 million jobs for Africa's youth over 10 years. This is not a dream. This is not pie in the sky. This is a reality. It means that through the programs of the bank, we are committed to creating, at a minimum, if my math is right, that's about 50,000 jobs per country in a year. My math might be slightly off, but anyway, it's 24 million jobs over 10 years. That is 2.4 million jobs a year. Divide that by 50 countries, I think my math is kind of accurate. It's about 50,000 jobs per year. So today, several outstanding young Nigerians are leading the way in what I believe will become a multi-trillion-dollar business in the not-too-distant future. Mosomola talked about that earlier. The Lagos that I grew up in was a city of 2 million people. Today, we're pushing 20 million. By 2030, we'll be pushing 40 million. The infrastructure has relatively stayed the same. But my question is, where are the parks? Where are the hospitals? Where are the roads? Where are the bridges? Where are the subways? Where is the value chain for agriculture to ensure that 40 million people in this city get fed? What are the plans?